I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm kind of sick of seeing this title screen. And we'll get into the reason why pretty shortly. Welcome to the Extras mode of Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. We have done pretty much everything in the game that I want to other than the Extras mode. So we're going to be starting with the trial maps here today. The third map on this one is pretty short. So for the third map, it's probably only going to take about 10 minutes or so. I did a quick run through of these just to see how fast it took me to do for each one, and the third one was by far the shortest, which is kind of weird. You think it would be the hardest one, especially seeing how you unlock them, but after doing that third map in the third video, I'll be showing off the illustrations, the sound room in the theater, and I guess sort of the Connect GBA. I'll talk about how it works, but I mean, we're not connecting the GBA. Trial maps. Whenever choosing a trial map, these are unlocked after completing the game. You will pick which of your save files that you want to play off of, so we're going to be playing off the same one I did in the main playthrough. And you'll be given a set of options here. This can have up to 6 options. Very quickly going over the unlocks for these. Hillside Battle is unlocked by completing the game on any difficulty, so easy, medium, hard. Lonely Isle is unlocked by beating it on normal or hard, and as you can probably expect, Strange Turn is unlocked by beating it on hard. So you have to beat it on the highest difficulty. If you do beat it on the highest difficulty your first time through, which I don't know why you would do that, you want at least a little bit of practice, then you would unlock all 3 at once. You don't have to beat it once on each difficulty. So once you beat it on hard mode, you will have all 3 of these maps. In addition, you will get 3 other maps that will be shown on screen as soon as future me will be programming that in, but I'm going to be very quickly looking up the names of these. These are unlocked, all 3, by, as you can probably expect, connecting the GBA and having save copies of other Fire Emblem games. Fire Emblem 7, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, etc. So, Stage 4 will be called Desperation. That will be shown on screen now. That is unlocked by connecting the GBA, according to this guide, with an English Fire Emblem game inserted. And then you'll have map 5, which will be Escape. This is connecting the GBA with the American Fire Emblem game inserted. Again, I don't know if these are right. We're just going off the guide. And map 6, Trapped, is connected with the GBA if Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is inserted. So that's how you get those other ones. I have actually played Sacred Stones in Fire Emblem 7. I'm not sure what that middle one is referring to in English versus American, but either way. It's probably something that I should know, but I don't for whatever stupid reason. That's how you would unlock those other 3. So let's go ahead and start with number 1, Hillside Battle. Victory conditions, rout enemy. While marching on a mountain trail, Ike's party is attacked by unknown assailants. Determined to put an end to these bandits before they can hurt anyone else, Ike fights back. That's a lot of enemies. Of course, I knew they were showing up. And there are a lot of strong enemies, too, let me tell you. Alright, let's do this. Now, before we get into choosing your units, I'm going to go ahead and actually pick all of these very quickly. Take Leaf out. I'm okay with Nephany, Rolf, Jill. You're not really going to want any horseback units because this is a mountain map, and if you remember, they suffer a pretty bad movement penalty on this map, so probably not recommended to take them in with you. That will do. Now we're going to take one more before I show off the other thing that I want to make a note of. It's a hard strength 23. We'll take Mia, I guess. Whoops. There we go. Back to what I was saying. Now, in addition to unlocking the stages, this is why it took me so long to get around to the Extras mode. We'll be talking about this shortly. If you scroll down enough, and this is only on the trial maps, if you scroll down enough far on this list, you'll find, as soon as I get there, that's right, Oliver and Shirahim, and there's more to come. I'm just going to be talking about this shortly. These are characters that you can actually unlock, and you unlock them by beating the game a certain amount of times. Now, before I did the playthrough, I'd unlocked all but one of them. And the last one, it took a while. And you'll see why when I read the unlock conditions allowed to you. Or, allowed is in A-L-O-U-D. Not a lot. Allowed. Oliver is unlocked by beating the game 3 times. Level 2 Bishop, not that great of stats across the board. Fairly high resistance, good luck. But luck, as we've already stated, it's not that great of attack. Shirahim, the Wyvern Lord, and Jill's father. His stats are on screen now. Again, not that great overall. Speed's pretty low. Luck is terrible. So, yeah, make of that what you will. He is unlocked by beating the game 5 times. Can we just scroll down this way? Yes, we can, so it won't spoil it. Patrine, the Paladin, and one of the 4 Riders of Dayan. She's actually pretty decent. She's a good all-rounder, and she can actually do very well with her Flame Lance against units with bad resistance, because her magic is pretty much on par with her strength. So, on one map that I will be using her on, she actually does fairly well. But she's unlocked by beating the game 7 times. Up next, another Rider of Day, Bryce, the general that we thought that was actually in the final chapter of the game, and a general level 20. He is unlocked by beating the game 10 times, and he's pretty good overall. You know, better than most generals you'll see. Not a great movement stat, but again, he is a general, so that's not what he's typically aimed to do. And last but not least, by beating the game 15 times, you unlock Ashnard at King Dayan with his almighty Gurgrant sword that has range and will not break. Now, granted, you don't save after these, so really the breaking of weapons typically doesn't matter. But yeah, very good stats. His luck is 0, but most of the time, because of his 35 defense, that's not going to matter. He probably won't get damaged at all. Still, though, this guy took a while to unlock, so I hope anybody watching appreciates this, because I did not hack the game. I beat the game 15 times. Now, as I mentioned before this playthrough started, I'd unlocked everybody else, so I'd locked up to Bryce, which would have been 10 playthroughs. The playthrough that you guys saw was number 11, so then I beat it again for 12th, again for 13th, again for 14th, and again for 15th. So I beat this game off screen during my break 4 times. I cannot even begin to describe how old this game got after a while. Now, I did say Patrine, Bryce, and Ashnard I'm not going to be using Sheriam or Oliver because, to be honest, if you take a look at the map, these units are pretty strong. They kind of start out weak, but like as the maps go on, they get even stronger. Like these are all class 2 units. They have silver bows, ranged magic. They have, you know, typically pretty good stuff. Brave Lance, Spear, Killer Lance. So they're probably going to be boasting, for the most part, pretty good weapons and pretty good stats. This is going to be stuff like you would see endgame or better. And the Halberdier is not a very good comparison. But yeah, defense 24 for a general right there. Let's find a magic user. His stats are alright, I guess. But especially on the second map, this is very prevalent. So for that reason, I'm not going to use them because they will probably die. So I'm just going to be using these 3. Now, in the case of this map, I'm going to be saving Ashnard for the last one. So I could either use Patrine or Bryce. And to be perfectly honest, Patrine and Bryce don't work well on this map. Patrine will suffer the movement penalty pretty heavily. Bryce already is going to get a small movement penalty, and his movement's a lot lower. So we're just going to go right down in order for this one. For this type of trial map, or for all the trial maps, I should say, you will not be getting any experience. If a unit dies, they will come back after the trial map is over, so you don't lose them forever. If a weapon breaks, it comes back after basically, everything gets reset to the way it was before the trial starts, after the trial is over, whether you lose or win. Conditions, as you can probably expect, same as always. Victor rat enemy, defeat if Ike dies. Let's see, in addition to that, all the weapons that you will have at your disposal are not just what you'll have actually in the game, convoy give, but it will also be whatever you kept around for the end game. So in my case, I sold all my stuff, so I don't have anything. If you did keep anything, though, you would have it available to you for the trial maps. You're able to trade over anything, so if you're using like 8 characters, but you're not using Mist or whatever, you can trade over staves, etc., so on and so forth. They have the same weapon durability that they did whenever you finished the game. So that being said, these are the units I'm going to bring in with me. Just as a little bit of a cop-out, and you can also use Naysala or Tabarin, depending on who you pick for the last level. It's a little bit of a cop-out, but I think it's semi-fair because I'm wasting a character, quote-unquote, with Patrine because of her movement penalty, and I don't think she's going to be able to move that far. So I'm actually leaving her at the start because now that I know this, reinforcements spawn over here, and they're mages and generals, I believe, so that's going to be stuff that her Flame Lance will be good against because she deals magic attack. I'll probably also have Jill fly up and then back down in order to make sure that she can help Patrine out if things get bad. Aside from that, everybody else is going to be going forward as normal. I'm going to move him forward and move Rolf to the back a little bit because he's obviously going to be taking some heat. You're going to want to watch out for these boulders. There's a reason I did not bring Soren or Mist or anybody with relatively low HP other than, well, everybody's got over 40. So they can take 4 hits from the boulders. They didn't cause too much of a problem last time, but you do know that they can cause a problem if you watch that chapter of the story. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to explain too much about strategy here for the sole sake of, you've probably heard it a million times from me, I forgot to turn those animations off because I had them on for Ashnard. But we can watch this guy miss. There's Deadeye. Whee! In case you're wondering, that's not actually Rolf's bow, by the way. I'd forgotten about that when I had done the practice room. It's a forged silver weapon. So no, it's not actually Rolf's bow. It threw me off the first two, but yeah, no, it's not. So we've got a little bit to talk about, because it's been a couple weeks since I've updated. According to this, it's been 2 weeks on my YouTube page, but it might be longer than that. We'll go with this. I forgot to turn it off again. Alright, I'm going to do that next round. But the day I'm recording this is actually the 1st of January. This is the first video that's being recorded in 2017 and the first one that's going up as well. So, interesting little anecdote. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm glad the year's over. And I'm not saying that like everyone else, because a lot of people that I had asked, there was like, why was it such a bad year for thee? They're like, oh, well, we lost a bunch of really good celebrities. I'm like, well, yeah, that's sad, but, you know, we're going to lose more. I mean, you lose people the time. I know that's making light of it in a way, but that's just how it is. It's not like you knew them personally or whatever, and, you know, a lot of people are really sad that you lose all these great people, and yeah, I'm sad about it too, but for me, it was a lot more personal reasons why it wasn't a good year. And when I say I actually lost people, like, you know, people passed away, it was actually people that I knew personally. So it was a really bad year last year. So as negative as that sounds, I am definitely hoping this upcoming year will be a better one. Believe me, no one's hoping that more than me. Because we need a good year. The world needs a good year. I'm not saying just me. Everyone could use a good year this year. That would be really nice. If you can hear me drinking in the background, I apologize. And no, I'm not drinking alcohol for the new year. Thank you very much. It's the night of January 1st, which means it'll be January 2nd in about an hour and a half, roughly. It's about 10:30 right now. Just normally I don't record this early, which I know that sounds kind of weird, but normally I don't record this early, but thankfully everyone went to bed pretty early this time. So yeah, here's hoping for a better new year. For everyone. Quite the mess we've been in this last 365 and 1/4 of a day. Ugh. Yeah, nice try. I'm going to try to get those mages out as fast as I can. There's another one up at the top with a bolting spell. I would ask you don't critical my archer, sir. Again, you keep all your items, so Jill has full guard. She is protected from those archers' bonus damage. Believe me, I'm glad I remembered that. It's also weird because my additional playthroughs were all on easy, so these characters are high level, because like I mentioned, you're not getting experience off of these characters, or off these enemies, even if your units are not level 20, like they're maxed. So it's kind of weird, but a lot of units that I used, I ended up using different ones, or using like different skills on them. Nephany, instead of having Wrath and Resolve on most of my playthroughs, I just gave her Luna and just let her go crazy by negating some defense. Wrath Resolve's kind of interesting for the trial maps, though, because both of those skills are activated when your HP is at a certain percentage. It has to be low enough for them to activate. But with Wrath, that would increase her critical percentage, and with Resolve, that increases strength, skill, and speed, I believe. So they're both very good skills, but they're very risky skills to use. So it'll be interesting to see if those ever come into play in any of these maps. I'm going to use her in all three. At least I think I did. Or I think I will. I think I did in the practice ones. I might not use her on the third one, but I will probably use her on the second one. The third one does not give you a lot of units to use. It's a pretty small map, but still. They're just content to throw all those enemies just straight down at you. Alright, let's get to taking some of these guys out. Brave Sword will do nicely. Let's see what else is there to talk about. Oh, right, I can talk about... I've been having Wi-Fi issues whenever I was playing Overwatch, and I'm not going to be talking about Overwatch. I'm talking about the Wi-Fi issues here. Big difference between the two. Let's get rid of you. I was having issues with the Wi-Fi while playing Overwatch super bad the last couple months. And I'd replaced my computer fan and thought that that might fix some of the problem. It fixed it a little, but not that much. And so part of me had wondered while was trying to play it. What was going on? This was about 2 weeks ago, roughly. Maybe a little bit less time than that, but you get the general idea. That's how I was trying to go. I was trying to kill this guy. Well, I don't know. I can probably reach him, can he? Yeah, he can. That'll do. And so I was trying to figure out what was going on with the Wi-Fi. I was like, is it just playing badly on Overwatch? Because even like the second that I logged into the game, my internet would drop from 5 bars to 4 and sometimes 3. And I was just like, okay, is it just using up way too much of my data? It's like, you know, am I having problems with memory or something like that? And none of it was stuff like that. It wasn't an actual issue from the main part of my computer, ones that I've had in the past with hardware issue. Let's kill you. Yeah, we'll do that. Seems like a good idea. Now that I've already inputted that command, I'll leave you there. And so part of me also thought maybe it's just because my mom's usually on Amazon Prime or Hulu or Netflix or whatever. Because anybody that has that, you know that it eats up the Wi-Fi pretty badly. I've been closing all my other programs to clarify. I've been closing Steam, been closing Telegram, been closing Skype, you know, whatever. Which I don't even use Skype hardly at all anymore. Like, I don't remember the last time I logged into it. It's been at least 4 months now. But I made sure everything was closed. Like, only the programs I needed to be running were running. I went to the task manager, all that. And I just could not figure out why my Wi-Fi was being so bad. Now, my Wi-Fi is not a linked connection, like actually using a cable. It runs through an Ethernet cable, which I've talked about this before. Whenever I had to get my hard drive replaced, how they had accidentally taken the Ethernet cable off of my mainframe, and so I was not able to get on the internet until I went back and got it, which is why it took like another day to do. But that's a whole story altogether. You can watch the vlog for that one. Wow, that guy just got one-shotted. Nice job. Nice job. But long story short, I was fiddling with it another time, and I had taken the... How good's the crit on this? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, nice. That beautiful Vague Kati, such a wonderful blade. I had taken the Ethernet cable out temporarily because sometimes that's just easier to reset the internet that way. Because the internet was actually going bad at that point. Just like across the house. So I was like, alright, I'll just unplug it, plug it back in. And of course, that did fix it. But while I had it out, I just had it sitting there on my table. And, you know, giving it a few seconds to register that it had been unplugged. And then I was going to be plugging it back in. That's not even enough to kill him. Shoot. Alright, we'll get rid of this guy then. And so, after that had happened, I just, you know, had it sitting on the desk. And I thought, I wonder what happened if I plugged it into a different USB port. And so I tried that the first time and it didn't work. And then I came back to it about... I don't know, an hour and a half later, roughly, maybe 2 hours, and tried plugging it into a third and different USB port. I have had no problem since. Literally, the only problem that my internet connection had was the USB that my Ethernet cable was in had gone bad. So, at this point, when we're considering just the USB ports that I have in my computer that are free, that are not being used up by anything, I have 2 on the front, and I have 3 on the back. The 2 on the front have gone bad, and 2 of the 3 on the back have also gone bad. So I have one USB that actually works for getting my internet at a full pace, so obviously I have to use that one. Now for other things like using my mic, which is being used right now, or the capture card, which is also being used right now on a USB port, it's not that big a deal, but I needed to get my USBs replaced. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. I'm just doing this because, well, I could have healed. That probably would have been smart, huh? I mean, I knew she wasn't going to get hit here, but still got 15 health. Ooh, nice. Okay, we'll let Ike take, or we'll let Zahar take care of that momentarily. Oh, I can't reach him. Right, because he's on an elevated platform. This doesn't look like it is, but it actually is. Alright, let's get rid of you. I am completely in shock, though, that of all things was why I could not get my internet to cooperate with me. It was just a bad USB port, of all things. So, after replacing my fan, that will be my next project for when I get back to working on my computer again. If it gets really bad on that last USB, I'm going to have to do that. I'm not going to have another option. Like, I will have to get the USBs replaced. At least the ones on the front, because I'm getting tired of having to pull the actual entire tower out. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Getting tired of having to pull the entire tower out of, you know, the desk that it sits in, and then plugging something in, and then pushing it back in, and making sure that it doesn't squish the cable or anything like that. It's just, ugh. I know, first world problems, but, you know, for a computer junkie, it's annoying. Which, I don't even would say I'm a computer junkie. I would say I'm a gamer. I don't know everything. I don't know a lot about PCs and whatnot. Like, installing the fan, that was just, like, looking online and getting a quick confirmation and making sure I was doing it right. But that, like, replacing a fan on a computer, if it's, like, the main one, is not hard. Like, the one that, you know, is actually on the top of it. That's literally just, like, unscrewing the, just getting, like, a Phillips head and unscrewing the fan and then unplugging where it actually plugs into the computer and then swapping it out, plugging it back in, and rescrewing it back in. Like, it's that simple. Oh, she didn't get hit. I would like to try to keep all my characters alive, but who knows if that'll actually happen. Since they're not dead for good, it's not that big a deal. It's like we're playing a new Fire Emblem game. Oh, I went there. Yeah, we'll get you out first. The general I'm not as... Oh, crap. The general I'm not as worried about. Alright. Let's get you back down there, and I think she has Elixir. Yep, she does. That'll fix that problem right up. I'm not going to use her this turn because she also needs to heal pretty badly. But now that that's been taken care of, let's start some massacring. I guess my friend stopped texting me. Whenever I was doing practice stages, she kept texting me over and over, which is fine, because I messaged her on Facebook, and then I logged off of Facebook for a while, and so she wasn't able to respond back. But apparently, since I'd had my phone off for a long period of time, because, again, going back to the previous story, I thought my phone connection might have been part of it, you know, because I've had that problem in the past with, like, with a completely different computer, because it was old enough to where, like, other hardware was causing issues. Yeah, just so I can kill that guy. And so I'd had it turned off, and since I'd had it turned back on, it had turned the actual sound back on. I'm used to either having it on vibrate, or just having no sound on at all for whenever I'm in class or something like that. A teacher that keeps his phone on in class? Preposterous. Yeah, if you're still in high school, let me tell you right now, a lot of teachers keep their phone on in class. And really, a lot of them say as long as you keep it on vibrate or no tone, they don't really care about it because they understand the concept of, you know, there might actually be an emergency. Plus, they also trust you because you're paying for college, and they know that if you're going to pay for something that's that expensive, you're probably going to actually utilize your time well. And they're not wrong. Well, she's holding up her own. Not too bad here. Yeah, I'm going to go after the mage now. Well, no, Joe can probably reach him now that he's stupidly moved closer to her. Yeah, I knew you guys were coming. Alright, let's see. Can I get him? I can. Nice. Get out of here. No one liked you. You had no friends. That's you. Man, that saved a lot of time. I had to go all the way back down last time. I was like, I had everyone up here, and I had to fly Jill down, and it was just a complete mess. It was a fiasco. That's what happens when you switch to a bow in the middle of a group like that. Can't reach. You can, though. Because, of course, the Candyman can. What was it the other day? I was watching Josh Jepson stream Wind Waker HD. No, that was earlier today. It was so weird. There was one guy in the chat, and I know he's not watching this, but it was so weird. Sharpshooter, I can't remember what number he had following his username. But, Josh he'd gotten to some point in the Dragon Roost Temple, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, he's like, oh good, the mail came today. I guess, like, his wife had brought it in or whatever. And at the exact same time that I typed it in and hit enter, he and I had typed the Blue's Clues We Just Got a Letter thing at the exact same time. It was so weird. I don't know why that came to mind, but it just did. And we just kind of like, there's just like a brief pause in the chat. They're like, are you two related? I'm like, I don't know. Are we? I'm not sure anymore. Alright, more storytelling next time when we do more of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Map number 2, The Lonely Isle, which is a survival mission rather than a rout all enemies. So we'll see how that goes next time. Later.